Hi, this is Dominic Keating. I played Lieutenant Malcolm Reed on Enterprise, as you probably know, and you are listening to the NX 7062 podcast. Enjoy.
And welcome to the NX 7062 podcast. I still love how that sounds when it comes over in a British accent. Good evening, good evening, good evening. We are live. It is time for the NX 7062 podcast. I am your host, Stephanie K. And as always, so glad to be with you all. And I absolutely needed a dose of Dominic Keating tonight. Not that I don't need a dose of him every night. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. But pretty bad day today. So being able to kick off the podcast that way always makes me smile. Thank you, as always, for being here, joining me in beautiful New Jersey. In case you haven't noticed, my bridge got a little wider. You can see me a little bit better. I've been playing around with my webcam, and I actually finally think I got it to a point where it's safe from being knocked over by cats. And obviously in a better position for everybody to see me, because I retired my little Darth Vader. He was holding it up for me, but I finally got it to rest right on the monitor. So, I mean, it did take me like 10 minutes before the start of the show, but I'm pretty happy with the way things turned out. So, you get to see me, and you get to see my gorgeous shirt, which is Baby Yoda, but it says Precious Cargo, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. Hello, Magic Lasso. Thank you so much for joining me. Cast and crew, which is literally tonight, it's just me and my crew behind me, which consists of, we got Captain Archer and T'Pol heading to the bridge. We got Travis Mayweather on navigation, or helm. Travis on navigation, and as always, keeping us safe and sound, our favorite tactical officer, Lieutenant Malcolm Reed. Hello, Robert. Good to see you. Always good to have you guys here. I was actually just going into domestic. Yes, I am absolutely going to share. Thank you, domestic, and thank you for being so sweet for asking. I appreciate it. About a month ago, I finally landed myself a job. It was part-time. It was only about 10 hours a week, doing what I have a degree in, communications. I have a communications degree from Penn State. We are. And I finally, after years of looking, landed a job, and they let me go today for communications issues. I had literally been there just over a month. But it seems that the person I was working with, who I was supposed to be taking over responsibilities from, didn't want to give up their responsibilities and had a problem with me trying to change anything. I thought that I was being brought on board for my expertise, and it feels like they just wanted somebody to say yay, to be a yes person for the person I was taking over from. Like, okay, this is how you did it. Well, then I guess this is how I'm doing it. Meanwhile, they really didn't have a background in communications and marketing and social media, but whatever. But the irony of this entire situation is my first interview process, or my first interview. The first thing that one of the people that was interviewing me asked me, he said to me, this J.G. Hertzler that's listed on your resume, was that the guy from Star Trek? And I said, yeah, that's General Martok from Deep Space Nine. Turns out two out of the three people I was interviewing with were Trekkies. But that can only take you so far. And JG's on my resume because I helped him when he did his congressional run a couple years ago. So he is actually on my resume. And I was like, yeah, that's JG. Oh, great. JG helped me get a job. And then whatever. I've had some amazing support from some friends today, and a lot of cheerleading and cheering up, but still doesn't take the sting out of, being let go after a month, especially in this climate. So if anybody out there knows of anybody looking for somebody to help them with social media, web building, communications, anything fun like that, specifically, obviously, science fiction would be awesome, but I can do just about anything. Let me know. You can find me on social media at NX7062, including I have an email at NX7062@Comcast.net. So, yeah, if you know anybody, or, that would be awesome. For my Facebook page, as always, send me a message. I'm on Twitter. I'm all over the social media thing. So anyway, thank you, Domestic, for asking. Now on to more fun Trek-worthy things like the Voyager documentary. I don't know if you've heard, but it is in the works. I think Garrett Wang was posting about it not that long ago. So if they did a DS9 dock, and now they're moving on to a Voyager dock, then an Enterprise dock can't be far behind, and they damn well deserve one. They've gotten the short end of the stick everywhere else. They deserve a documentary. Oh, see, this is the kind of support you love to have from your friends. Lasso, you're the best. I'll let you know about that. I'll have to think on that. That's a great offer. Although travel right now might be a little bit, up in the air with COVID, but maybe later. So that way they can't hook it back to me. So there is there's a Voyager dock in the works. So I'm hoping that means an Enterprise dock is only maybe a year or two behind. I mean, seriously, again, right now in 2021, it's the 20th anniversary of Enterprise. So come on, let's get on that. Also, speaking of counting things, 1 hour, 204 days and 1 hour from now will be the opening of Star Trek Las Vegas 55-year Mission Creations Convention, whatever they're calling it now, happens 204 days from today. Oh, I heart you too, Raymond Lister. I do. I heart you too. Thank you, Raymond. So hopefully that will happen. Hopefully I will see Raymond there and I'll see Domestic there. I need Vegas so bad right now. That is so, like, I'm getting very myopic in my focus. I need Vegas. I need to see all my friends that I haven't seen in a million years. I need hugs and just, I need to see people that I miss. Oh, by the way, if Raymond's here, here's our plug. Raymond is the driving force behind BeKindMerch.org. If you have liked anything that I have worn on this program that has to do with Chase Masterson's Pop Culture Hero Coalition, Raymond is the man behind the curtain. All the glitter that is Be Kind merch, that is Raymond. He makes all of those amazing, amazing things. I took it downstairs, but I was drinking coffee out of my Be Kind merch, my latest Be Kind merch mug this morning. So head over to Be Kind merch, support Chase, tell Raymond how fantastic everything that's out there is. Raymond and I actually have a little bet going, and I don't think it's going to be a secret. I don't think there's any reason why we should keep it a secret, Raymond. So I'm gonna spill the beans on our little bet. Raymond and I have a bet. He had offered to make me a custom mask. I have 4 Be Kind merch masks, and he said that he would do one in any glitter color I want, any combination. If you go to BeKindMerch.org, you'll see all these amazing combinations. So I said, I want one in red. And he said, just red? Because usually they do the logo and the words Be Kind in different colors. I said, yeah, just red. Red on black. It's going to look awesome. And he did it in the Star Trek font that they use. And he did it, and he thought, wow, this does really look good. He thought it was a great idea. So I said it was custom, but he decided to offer it on the website as one of their usual offerings. And he wants to name it Red Alert because it's red. It's all red. And he wants to name it Red Alert. And I said, but I came up with it. And I want to name it Read Alert. Go figure. And Raymond and I now have a bet. It is right now on... See? Do I lie? I don't lie. Not here. Not talking about Star Trek peeps. So I said I want to name it Read Alert. And he said, no, it's right. It has to be Red Alert. So if you go check out BeKindMerch.org, one of the things you will see is all of the Star Trek celebs that have lent their creative ideas. There is a Kenneth Mitchell Be Kind shirt with his autograph on it. There is a purple Rekha Sharma shirt. So, people have posed with them. I know George Takei posed with a basic, one of their classic Be Kind shirts. Even William Shatner posed with one of the Be Kind shirts. So this is our bet, and I think I can pull this off. I don't know. Obviously, I can't speak for anybody else, but here's the bet. In case you guys can't see where this is going. Raymond's he's going to bring one of the Be Kind shirts done in the red style. And I told him if I could get Dominic Keating to pose with the shirt for the website, he has to change the name to Read Alert. So that's the bet. We're going to see what happens. Everybody cross their fingers. Nobody in this here, anybody in this room that is going to Vegas, anybody hears this, nobody's allowed to tell Dominic. I have to do this. Nobody tell him that it's coming, because then he might get annoyed if too many people say something to him, because trust me, I know Dominic. So nobody else is allowed to say anything. So I have to trust all y'all. And what does Domestic have to say here? Yes, they do. And they do, and they do, and they do. Here's the problem with STLV. As we all know, STLV isn't technically STLV anymore because Creation lost their license. So there are certain things that Creation can't do. And if you go and look on the website, like I do every so often, you'll notice even the guests can't be listed by show anymore. They can't say who's coming from each different show. They have to list, all the guests are listed in alphabetical order, and then underneath it's just listed which show they were on. And they haven't said boo about an anniversary for Enterprise. And I'm thinking that's not an oversight. I'm thinking if they can't even tell you which actors, if they can't even list the actors by their shows anymore, then I'm thinking they are not allowed to throw any sort of 20th anniversary for Enterprise, unfortunately. And the way it's looking right now, whatever company picked up, there is a company out there that has a license for Star Trek. So there is going to be a licensed Star Trek convention, but since we haven't heard hide nor hair nor boo about it, I'm doubting that they're going to do one in 2021. I think they probably want to wait until we're corona free and things are back to normal before they do their inaugural Trek event, which I can't blame them for, but that just means chances are it's going to be 2022. And I doubt that they're going to back into Enterprise, considering Enterprise. But like I said, I believe the cruise is they haven't come out and officially said it yet, but I just have a feeling with the fact that Connor Trinneer, Anthony Montgomery, and John Billingsley are already listed. They're still saying they're going to announce more cruise people. I'm still holding out hope that they're going to announce other cruise people. The rest of it, Linda Park and Dominic Keating are the only other two Enterprise people that really do conventions anymore and who would turn down a cruise. So according to Dominic over the summer, one of the things that I went to, he says he claims he hasn't been asked yet, which could be true. I mean, they may not have asked him as of the summer. They may have been planning to hold off on that. But I have a feeling the cruise may be an Enterprise, at least one or two things on the cruise are going to be Enterprise 2021 anniversary thing. All right. So hopefully you guys are all here and you have thought about Star Trek that you don't like, because like I said, this is totally a safe space to talk about the Trek that we don't like, and nobody's going to yell and nobody's going to get mad at anybody for anything that they have to say, because you know what, 50 years of, I mean, what do we got, 5, 6, 7 live action shows, 2 animated shows, and however many movies. You're testing me today of all days, Raymond. You're testing me. Ha, 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 ha. It's a good thing that you're... Okay, hold on. For Donation Be Kind had a from an upcoming movie. Yes, did you... Oh, my God. That is... Oh, Domestic. That is awesome that you went. Yes, I saw about that. I didn't get a chance to go. Domestic, I'm glad you did, and I'm glad you thought it was awesome. I am a huge fan of John Wesley Shipp. I actually met him. He was one of the actors that did the reading with Chase. Raymond, my dear, ha ha ha. If there is some place that people can go to view that reading that Chase did, if it's, I know it was live, but if there's some place that you guys are planning on posting it, maybe from, view by donation, feel free to let us know. Yes, John Wesley Shipp's a really nice guy. He's very nice. I met him a couple years ago at a convention I was working. But yeah, he's a real sweet guy. And obviously, he was kind enough to help out Chase. I didn't get a chance to talk to him as much as I wanted to. All right. So does that mean that hopefully someday soon it will be up for the rest of us to see, I hope? See, Raymond, aren't you glad you're here? Yeah, I would love to see it because I missed it, so I would love to see it. But yeah, the Flash, the original Flash, the one that worked with Mark Hamill, the Flash, he was on it. So, all right. So 2 things. Probs, yes. All right. Yeah, you don't record things and then hide them away. Unless you're me. I've recorded things that I won't let go public, but that's for another day. All right. So what don't I like about Star Trek? It's funny because there are things like Star Trek the Motion Picture. In general, it's brought Star Trek back. I mean, that was the big thing. It brought Star Trek back. But that 20-minute loop around the Enterprise at the beginning, don't like it. So see, there are things that you can like, but you just don't like little bits and pieces of. Or there are things as a whole that you don't like specific episodes, like the Menagerie. And I think one of the reasons I don't like the Menagerie is because I've seen The Cage, and all the Menagerie is a retelling of The Cage. And for the time, it made complete sense because nobody had seen the original pilot of Star Trek. So obviously Gene had this hour's worth of pilot, and he thought of and props to him for figuring out a way to use it. I have the utmost respect for the fact that he figured out a way to fit this whole thing together and get people to see the pilot after people had fallen in love with Star Trek, the second incarnation of Star Trek. So I have the utmost respect. But if you've seen The Cage, the Menagerie is just like 2 hours worth of The Cage, and it just sort of drags on. What really stinks about this, and Chris Hunter and I have actually talked about this, and I didn't realize this. I had always thought that his father had passed away when they were filming the Menagerie, and that's why they had a different actor in the wheelchair. That's not true. He actually, I think Chris said he was filming in Europe or something. He just wasn't available. He wasn't available to do it. So unfortunately, Jeff Hunter missed out on playing Pike and actually being seen as Pike like that. So that's one of the. I actually sat down and went through all 3 seasons of TOS just to see which things I didn't like, and I'm waiting for you guys because I know y'all have something in Enterprise and Star Trek that you don't like. And Raymond, you're not allowed to say Enterprise again. Even a character you don't like. I mean, there are going to be things you don't like. I didn't like the Changeling more because of how it ended. The whole thing with just telling him, you were created by humans, so you're inferior, and he blew himself up. I talked about this last week, the Doomsday Machine, and I think part of that has to do with that actor from Murder, She Wrote. Because again, I've seen Star Trek when I was a kid. I saw a lot of Star Trek, but by the time I sat down and actually really got into it and really watched the original, a lot of time had passed. So I was recognizing actors in Star Trek that I had seen in newer things like Murder, She Wrote. We all went over that last week. Don't like Angela Lansbury. Don't like Murder, She Wrote. See, there you go. See, I think Star Trek, I think TOS for its time had some amazing stories, and just I thought it was great. I mean, in general, but there are, let's see, after I went over it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, five episodes I didn't like. I didn't like the Doomsday Machine, didn't like the Changeling. Spock's brain, I think, is just a general, I think I'm in the majority. A lot of people thought Spock's brain was just kind of lame. Brain lame, yes, I rhymed. And Is There No Truth in Beauty, I thought was a great episode, but I do not like Diana Muldaur. And again, we're backtracking. Didn't like her in TNG. Go back and watch TOS and went, oh my God, not only was she a bitch the entire second season of TNG, but she tried to kill Spock. So, and here's another, see, I tend to buck convention when it comes from okay, most of the other shows have episodes I don't necessarily not like them. So, but yeah, see, and I was gonna say this. Most of the other series, we all know I don't like Voyager. I'm rewatching it on Heroes and Icons just because it's there, and again because it's playing before Enterprise. And I still there are characters that annoy me. There are characters that I like. I love Seven of Nine. I love watching Seven of Nine and her character development. Tom Paris and B'Elanna, kind of digging on them as their relationship grows. But as a whole, I don't like Voyager. It's like the opposite of everything else. I don't like Voyager, but there are bits and pieces of Voyager that I can say that I like. But as a whole, I don't like Voyager. As opposed to as a whole, I like something else and not like bits and pieces. But again, and I hope I don't lose anybody because I'm about to say something that's probably mildly unpopular. I didn't like The Inner Light on TNG. And I know everybody loves that card and the whole thing with the flute and everybody. I like TNG more when they do the ensemble stuff than when they tend to concentrate on individual characters. And I know that there's a reason for that. And I know that you want to build characters. I mean, you're on for 7 seasons. Let's get some backstory. Let's really build on each of these characters. So I get why you do specific character-driven episodes. That makes total sense. But by the same token, I just, you know, especially if it's a character I don't like. I was never a huge fan of Jean-Luc. Always when it was a choice between Jean-Luc and Kirk, I was always a Kirk girl. So there were just some things about Jean-Luc that rubbed me the wrong way. So when they started focusing on him, and then we all know, you know, no offense to Will Wheaton, because I think Will Wheaton's an amazing person, but we all know Wesley could get annoying. So that one episode, and I didn't look up the name, but that one episode where they were stranded in that cave was one of the most annoying episodes. With the whole thing with the water, I was like, oh, no. I was a big fan, and my first Star Trek crush was actually Jonathan Frakes. So I was always a big fan of anything that focused on Will. I loved Will and Deanna's relationship, so anything that focused on the whole Emzadi thing, those were all ranked up as my favorite. Oh, domestic. Yeah, I've worked with Heather. I've known Heather for years. She and I have an ongoing little thing because of her thing with Janeway. Yeah. Oh no, Heather knows how I feel about, you know, and then she gives me, you know, she does jabs about Enterprise. So yeah, no, Heather and I have known each other for a couple of years. For those of you that don't know Heather, she is a fabulous Star Trek drag queen that has worked with Lambda Quadrant on many occasions, and she did our first 2 Holocons. If you want to go check them out, they're available on Twitch as well as on the Lambda Quadrant Facebook page. So if you want to go look up our Holocons, you'll see a couple of performances by Heather. She's great, and she cosplays as Janeway. She also does cosplay as Dr. Crusher. She's not a one-trick pony when it comes to Star Trek cosplay. She also drags as Dr. Crusher. So she does change it up every now and then. I also know Jackie Cox, who is an incredible Star Trek drag queen. And she does, and I think one of the reasons I love her so much is because she does Deanna. She cosplays as Deanna mostly. So, but yeah, to answer your question, yes, I do. And yes, she does. And we just agree to disagree, because that's the whole thing about this being a safe space to talk about what we don't like in Star Trek. Because there's no judgments here. We're all friends. You're allowed. It's been on the air. You know, it's been what, 55 years. It's the 55-year mission. It's been around for 55 years. It's not perfect. So there are going to be things, and you're allowed not to like things, and you can still say you love something and not like it. Let's see. Wesley's, is it? Yes. Naked Now was good. Even though Wesley saved the ship, Naked Now was really good. And even though, you know, it was a TOS ripoff, Wesley saves the ship in that one. What was the one the game? We were talking about the game last week. Wesley saved the ship. I think people just got really bored with Wesley saving the ship. And that's the thing. The episodes will be really good and you'll be really enjoying it. And then in the end, Wesley saves the ship and you're like, oh, really? So yeah, that's the thing. You could be completely invested in an episode of Star Trek Next Generation and loving it, and then Wesley saves the ship, and then you're like, you go from to there. Don't necessarily hate it, but it definitely drops down a little bit. But let's get to why I'm wearing the shirt. Like I said, it is totally Baby Yoda. But the reason, and who doesn't love a good Baby Yoda? But the reason that I'm wearing the shirt, and the reason I bought the shirt, okay. Heather doing Crusher. Go follow her on Facebook. I don't know if there's any video. I really don't. I've seen her do it. She did it at some Lambda. She did it at a couple Lambda Quadrant events. So, but we don't have a lot of video of that. Those were all live events, and we didn't record them. But yeah, go check out Heather's Facebook page. Go shoot her a message. Maybe she's got something somewhere, or at least a picture somewhere. But yeah, she does. She does a pretty good crush. She's got that long blue lab coat and everything. She's a great crusher. But anyway, so I bought the shirt because it's Baby Yoda. But the Precious Cargo thing is what really got me, because even though this is one of my least favorite episodes of Enterprise, it's still an episode of Enterprise. And I just thought it was funny that and definitely Baby Yoda is a way more precious cargo than a stuck-up literal ice queen. Like, she was cryogenically frozen and she was an ice queen. But one of the reasons that I don't like that episode is I just didn't like Padme Lakshmi's acting. I don't have a problem. I never had a problem, honestly, with the Enterprise episodes that were character focused, but I think it's because I'm more invested in Enterprise as a show as a whole. So I enjoy, well, the Mayweather one where he went home, when he went back to the Horizon. What was that other one? Crap. Oh, Fortunate Son was kind of where they helped out a cargo ship that was in trouble. That one was a little but again, that just goes back to poor character development, poor writing, just not very interesting. Like Mayweather, they just didn't make Mayweather that interesting. And he was way underutilized, and Anthony Montgomery is fabulous, but the character of Mayweather was just so. The same thing with Linda Park. I've seen Linda Park in other things. I think she's fabulous. But Hoshi, until In a Mirror Darkly, which is one of my favorite Star Trek episodes. Up until In a Mirror Darkly, Hoshi was just a very And that's actually another one of my least favorite episodes, was the one during the third season where it was basically her on the planet with that guy that was trying to help them find the Xindi. Again, me and titles. I think it's just because by the time you get to the middle of the third season, you haven't developed her enough. She hasn't had enough. So it's just a whole episode about her now, when we had 2.5 entire seasons for you guys to do something with her. And now you're taking me away and that's the other thing, it was in the middle of the Xindi arc, where it's just, which I do not have a problem with. I know there are a lot of people out there that think the third season of Enterprise killed the show. I do not believe that. I thought the entire arc was really good, and it was very 911 oriented, or 9/11 oriented, which is where our heads were at the time. But they're in the middle of all this action and get the Xindi and find the Xindi, and then they kind of just dead stopped, which happens to be an episode of Enterprise, another episode. They dead stopped the entire thing for Hoshi to be sitting on this planet with this guy, and it killed the momentum. And again, I just didn't care that much about Hoshi at the time to be that invested in the episode. I can't say there's an end. Oh, but I refused to watch the last episode, so I guess that, well, yeah. I haven't watched, I think I've mentioned this before. Again, Heroes and Icons, great channel if you can get it. It's on Comcast. I don't know if it's on any other satellite provider, cable or satellite providers, but it is on Comcast. This is about the third or fourth time that I've run through the entire season of Enterprise. It comes on at midnight here. I fall asleep to it. But after they get done with Terra Prime, I will not watch the final episode of Enterprise. I will watch it on Blu-ray when I get there. I had my Blu-ray for a couple of years, and I've been really bad about like actually sitting down and binging it. But now I've got a 4K TV and a 4K Blu-ray player, so it'll upscale my Enterprise. So I definitely need to sit down and start doing that again. But I think I will watch it one time on Blu-ray just to say that I finished it. But I have probably seen that episode once when it originally aired. Because I can't do it. I can't do it. Jonathan Frakes, he's even very, I don't want to say sorry. He's not sorry about it. I mean, but he just wasn't the most comfortable doing it. He even had to he even went to Scott Bakula. But what was Scott Bakula going to say? No, don't come do my show. I mean, Scott. I mean, he was the captain of the Enterprise, was not the captain of the production. So, but again, and they killed Trip, and I don't need to see that. I like it when you ended it Terra Prime and Trip's still alive. Reminds me of the last episode of Buffy, when Willow is talking to her girlfriend, and her girlfriend's saying how much she loves her and cares for her and knows every little thing about her, like how she stops Moulin Rouge right before Satine dies so that it always has a happy ending at the big medley ending before she collapses. And I thought, yes, not watching These Are the Voyages is my version of stopping Moulin Rouge, which I also totally get because I happen to be a fan of Moulin Rouge. But yeah, so like I said, I mean, those are pretty much the things I don't like. I'm sure I haven't sat down and rewatched DS9 enough to comment on things I don't like. I will tell you that Ala Moraine song kills me. When we were on the cruise, Melissa started singing it one day, and then that just became the thing for like the rest of the trip, and I could not escape it. And so if I had to right now pick Move Along Home is probably down there just for the Ala Moraine thing, because it kills me. It's so flippin' annoying. But yeah, like I said, I'm not talking about DS9 because I'm in the middle of a rewatch of DS9, but I don't want to sit here and say what I didn't like, because I haven't gotten there yet. So I can really just talk about TNG. And like I said, I mean, I was going through TNG and I can't put my finger, like I said, I don't like Diana Muldaur. So like the entire second season of TNG for me is kind of a wash. There's very little in that I liked. I mean, I wanted Moriarty to keep her on the holodeck. I'm like, just keep her, kill her. I can't care. Anybody that's an LA Law fan, and I'm going back a million years and I know that. Anybody that's an LA Law fan would know that she was on LA Law for a little while. And they killed her character off by having her fall down an empty elevator shaft. She was talking to somebody. She hit the button. She's not paying attention. A door to an elevator opens. You just assume you're stepping into the car. For some reason, the car wasn't there. It was just the empty shaft, and she stepped off. And I thought, well, they didn't kill her off on Star Trek, but at least I got to watch her yell and scream and fall down an elevator shaft and something else that makes me feel a little better. Just something about. And I mean, like I said, it's again, and I emphasize this, and I've said this, however many times before that I've said it. Bad episodes, bad characters, things like that, things you don't like. I'll sit here and tell you I don't like Diana Muldaur. I have never liked her. I should qualify that. I've never liked her in anything that she's played. I have never met her personally. I don't know the type of person that she is. I've never met her. But I've never liked her in anything that she's done. So I don't, and that's all I know. Yes, this is true. The Ala Moraine Move Along Home. Yes. Quark getting knocked off his game was definitely, but again, you cannot like an episode or like an episode and still have components of it that you feel the exact opposite way about. That's the beauty of it. But again, you can't blame necessarily, I don't like a character. You can't sit there and say, I don't like the actor. Like I said, Anthony Montgomery and Linda Park are fabulous actors. They were just written, they didn't get really meaty stories. They weren't written for very well. And they were underutilized on the show. That has nothing to do with who they are or their talents. It was just the characters that they played just weren't developed enough for anybody, for me personally, I liked Anthony. I just couldn't find myself caring about Hoshi. Hoshi annoyed me more often than not. Well, hello, Faith. Thanks for stopping by. So yeah. So whatever you do or don't like, just remember, because things, especially now, and why I say this is a safe space to talk about this is because when you sit down and you look at what's going on out there in the social media, and I've mentioned this on the show before, the actress that played Rose in the Star Trek Star Wars sequels, was shamed and belittled and racially attacked. She left social media. I mean, Mark Hamill turned around and stood up for her. I didn't like Rose either. I thought Rose was a wasted character. She annoyed the hell out of me. But that's who she was. That's who she was written. That's as she was written. That's how she was directed. Don't go after the actress for doing her job and getting her paycheck. It has nothing to. First of all, you should never attack anybody. Let's just get that out of the way. Never attack anybody. Period. But to attack them for doing their job as it's written and as they're told, that's bullshit. I mean, I don't. Let's see. Yes, this is very true. I don't know, Faith, I don't know if you were here when we were talking about Wesley Crusher, and I don't know if Wesley Crusher falls into that love to hate thing, but we were hating on Wesley a little bit. But yeah, there are definitely characters that you love to hate. I've been rewatching Night Court. Dan Fielding's a character that you love to hate because he's just so funny and he's hard to take seriously. But I'm just throwing that out there because, well, and it does have a Star Trek tie-in because for anybody that doesn't know, John Larroquette played Maltz in Star Trek 3, Search for Spock. You know, the guy that said at the end when Captain Kirk said, "Help us or die," the Klingon that said, "I do not deserve to live," that was John Larroquette. So I can bring him up and not even break out of the Star Trek mold. But Dan Fielding on Night Court was my favorite character I think that he's done, and I've seen him in other things. But yeah, so, you know, and it's the same thing I interviewed when this was like a million years ago. I feel like I interviewed Robin Curtis at one point when I met her up in Ticonderoga, and you know, we had talked about the difference between her Saavik and Kirstie Alley's Saavik, and that had to do not only with how Saavik was written, but also the vision of Saavik from the director's point of view. And you had one director, you had somebody directing Alley in 2, but then you had freaking Leonard Nimoy directing her in 3. Well, if Leonard Nimoy is directing you, and I mean, if you're going to have somebody tell you how to be a Vulcan, the guy that invented them is the one to tell you. So again, you know, I thought I liked Kirstie Alley's performance in 2, but I liked Robin Curtis's performance in 3 and 4 as well. And but they were different performances. And again, it has nothing to do. The actors are doing the jobs. The characters they are creating are based on a lot of things, none of which they have control over. You know, as far as, you know, they're obviously have control over who they are, their performances per se, but they're just aspects of a character that they don't have control over because it's not their purview. Perfect example. And I may have told this story on here before, but Connor Trinneer tells a story about how they were doing In a Mirror Darkly, and at one point during the early shoots, the director's like, I need more evil from you. They wanted something a little different from Tripp's character, and he was giving them. And Connor, you know, goofing around said, "Well, you want me to talk like a pirate?" And the guy said, "Yeah." So the next time they did the scene, he started to do this kind of piratey voice. And the director's like, "Cut, print." And Connor's like, "I was kidding." Director's like, "Nope, that's what I wanted." So Connor, who's played him for, you know, 4 years, you know, got stuck doing a pirate voice for the Mirror Universe because that's what the director wanted, and he was kidding. But nope, that's exactly what they wanted. Oh, well, yes, Lasso. See, Lasso does have a little bit of Star Trek knowledge because he is a Big Bang fan. And yeah, he didn't like Wesley Crusher, but we all know that he became friends with Will Wheaton. So there it is. I was, you know, in TNG first, so I love Wesley like a big brother. Oh, okay. I can get that. I was a little bit older than 2 when I actually saw Will at a convention in Philadelphia when the show was still happening. And he came out on stage, and I remember him saying, "Who loves Wesley Crusher?" And a bunch of people stood up. Not a lot, but a bunch. And Will saying, "Okay, everybody standing up, kill all the people sitting down." That's how he broke the ice. So, like I said, I have been a fan I am a fan of Will Wheaton. I think he's incredibly funny. He's incredibly open about his personal issues with depression and alcoholism and everything. And he is out there living his truth and telling his story to support other people. So I think he is an absolutely amazing human being. Still can't be a Wesley Crusher fan. Okay, you met Marina the first. I'm trying to remember the first time I met Marina. I actually have her autograph somewhere. It's one of those ones where I really should have, like back in the day, I really should have taken better care of my Star Trek autographs. It might have been at the same convention that Will did. Might have been. Can't remember. I know it was Philly. I live outside of Philly, so most of my early convention experiences were either Philly or when Creation was doing stuff up in New York. But yeah, I mean, I've got autographs on just random pieces of paper because back then they were signing for free. So they would sign whatever you put in front of them. Well, so if I didn't have the money to buy an 8x10 somewhere, I would just put down like the Creation schedule in front of somebody. I think that's where I got Colm Meaney's autograph. I think I have Colm Meaney on a piece of paper somewhere. I have John Delancey somewhere. I actually now have a picture I got of John Delancey back in 2016 at the 50th here in Jersey. So what I should do is pop that out of the frame and take that with me and get him to sign it. I'm pretty sure he's on the list for Vegas, so maybe that should be something that I do because I love John Delancey. I've loved John Delancey since he was on Days of Our Lives a million years ago. But I've gotten Marina. I have Marina's autograph twice. The one time I met her, and then I got it a second time. I have this little pouch that a friend of mine gave me that's got these cute little character versions of Star Trek people. And a friend of mine gave it to me, so I decided to go out and get it signed. So now I've got Marina and Jonathan Frakes and John Billingsley because they're all on the pouch. So I got them all to sign it. Let's see what Domestic has to say. So the only of TOS I was allowed to watch. The adults I lived with were so. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's terrible. Oh my God, Domestic. I don't know what to say to that, to be perfectly honest. Okay, that I will give you. Okay, that's fair. Okay, Robert, finally chiming in. Times one was Jonathan Frakes, and another was with Gates, and I also saw her with Denise. Denise Crosby is awesome. I love Denise Crosby. She actually sang with me on the cruise a little bit. I sang the worst version of Me and Bobby McGee that ever existed. I picked it. I had no idea what it sounded like, and it was terrible. And Connor was no help, and Denise happened to be there sitting right in the front, and she was trying to help me sing it because it was just freaking awful. And then, I don't know, a couple months ago, I was listening. I had the radio on in my car, and I heard a Gordon Lightfoot? Heard a Gordon Lightfoot version of Me and Bobby McGee, and I thought, that's the karaoke version. Is this crappy, slow, painful version of Me and Bobby McGee. It was the Gordon Lightfoot version, and I'm like, well, this sucks. So at least I know if I make it onto the 2022 cruise, I will not be singing Me and Bobby McGee, although it is another cruise line, but I'm not taking that chance again. There you go. Who? I can't believe you remember that. Now you're going to make me tell the story. She did The Apprentice. She did The Celebrity Apprentice. This was a very long time ago. She did The Celebrity Apprentice. And she got kicked off because she didn't help fundraise enough for the first or second task. And somebody told her that she needed to call Bill Cosby and see if he'd donate to the charity or the event or whatever. And she refused. She's like, I haven't talked to him in a very long time, and I'm not going to pick up the phone. And the first thing I'm going to say to him is, give me money. Ironically, this was right before everything hit the fan with him anyway. And she was sitting at Wizard World in Philadelphia, and she was all by herself. This is what, and I've said this before, Convention 101. If you are at a convention and there's somebody that you want to talk to that doesn't have a line, go the frick up and say hi to them. I mean, real quick, just say, can I say hi to you for a second? Just kind of let them know up front you're not going to buy anything and you just want to talk to them. I mean, the worst they're going to tell you is no, go away. But I was standing outside of where her line was set up. And she saw me, and I'm like, and she's like, oh, come over. So I went over, and I said, I just want to tell you that I think you got a raw deal on The Apprentice. I said, I completely respect that, not having spoken to somebody in that long, that you weren't going to pick up the phone and call them and ask them for money. And so she appreciated the fact that I came over and said that to her. This is entirely possible. It's like, you got Cosby Show money. Don't bother me for anything else. And for anybody that cares, Malcolm Jamal Warner's on this show on Fox called The Resident. And he is absolutely freaking awesome. And Connor Trenier actually guested on it last season. He was on it for a little bit. It was he played the dad of the patient, but so see, look at this, Lasso, you're throwing me stuff, and I'm actually able to turn it back around to Star Trek, so that's awesome. But Connor was on an episode of The Resident last season. It's a great show, and Malcolm Jamal Warner is fabulous. He's got this fantastic role. Not sure what the other Cos kids are doing per se, but Malcolm's got a really, really, really good gig on The Resident. So I hope The Resident goes on for many, 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 many seasons. 911 premiered tonight. I'm crossing my fingers that they bring back Connor as the bomb squad guy, but I haven't seen anything on IMDb yet. But you guys will be the first to know if I find out. So if nobody else has anything that they want to share, you guys really have been the complete and total and utter highlight of my day. Like I said, that was just really completely and totally utterly crap as of a few hours ago. So thank you so much. And because Raymond was here, I don't know if he's still lurking around and just hasn't said anything, because all he could say was, all he could do is bust on my Enterprise. Superhero IRL on the socials, if you would like to follow Raymond and Pop Culture Hero Coalition and support Chase Masterson in her anti-bullying 501c3. But of course, I have to ask you to do things for me, like subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you happen to be on Twitch, I would love for you guys to follow me on Twitch, because I'm just trying to kind of get my Twitch stuff up. Listen, I am now out of work again. I need to start monetizing things. So I need to figure out, ways to put a little money in my pocket. Also, you can follow me on Twitter and NX7062 pretty much anywhere. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. You can email me, nx7062@comcast.net. Like I said, if anybody knows of anybody that's hiring, that would be great. If you know somebody that needs a podcast co-host, maybe that would be great. Charlie X is very creepy. I will give you that. Charlie X is incredibly creepy. But follow me, subscribe to the channel. I always... Yes, I watched the first episode of WandaVision. And honestly, I think it was very Dick Van Dyke Show, which I'm sure is exactly what they were going for. I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Good night, Robert. Thank you as always for popping in. I really enjoyed the first episode. I just haven't watched the second one yet. I also watched Batwoman. I think it's going to be interesting. They've piqued my interest because the lead quit. I'm done. So it's like I said to Lasso earlier, it's very hard to put in a new lead when there's no handoff from the old one, because she didn't come back at all. They even did a voiceover that was supposed to be Kate, and it was somebody else. So I watched Batwoman. I've watched WandaVision. I finished Cobra Kai, just in case anybody cares what I've been binge watching. What was the other superhero-y thing? And I rewatched Wonder Woman 84. So yes, I did watch WandaVision. I am enjoying it, and I'm not sure I want to watch the second one until I know when there's going to be more. I mean, it's tough. There's only 2 episodes right now, and like I said, Cobra Kai came out on the 1st, and I'm already done. damn Netflix for putting an entire season out at once so you can literally just wipe it out. So as annoying as, I have to say this, as annoying as you get with CBS and Disney because they release one a week, you get one Mandalorian, you get one Star Trek. It's kind of nice because every week you've got something. Because if you're like me and you have no self-control when it comes to that stuff, you're just like boom, 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 boom. Oh, well, that's good. All right. Thank you, Lasso. Like I said, if you guys are comic book nerds wannabes, go check out Magic Lasso and his channel on YouTube. You can subscribe to more than one thing on YouTube. So subscribe to him and subscribe to me. But go check him out. In fact, he actually showed his face for the very first time not that long ago on his see, I knew I wasn't alone. But in case anybody's wondering about that very handsome man behind the lasso, he actually finally got on camera, because if you've watched anything on his channel from when he started it, it was all him just talking about all these amazing comic books that he's collected. But he finally got brave and put himself on camera on his own channel. And I know what he looks like, but I did watch the live feed the live face thing the other day, and it was awesome. So again, subscribe to Magic Lasso. Follow Superhero IRL everywhere. Follow me everywhere. I mean, seriously, you guys are already on your computers because you're here watching me. So I don't see any reason why you can't just, click little bells and little subscribe buttons, and it would be so appreciated. And again, I'll go for the sympathy card. I've had a hard day. Make me smile. Just saying. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I was hoping to have an announcement about what I was going to be doing next week. I don't. Hold on, wait, let me just make sure that I don't. I sent out a message and nope, I don't have any idea what I'm doing next week. But I'll be here hanging out with y'all, because it's not like I got anything else to do. No, I love y'all and I make time for y'all. All right, I'm harkening back to my country music days. Anyway, thank you for hanging out with me. Until next week, everybody be safe and live long and prosper.
Hey, this is Connor Turner. You've been listening to the NX7062 podcast with Stephanie. Enjoy your evening.